The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The president of Namibia, Nandi Ndatwa, powerful message to us again. According to her, Africans will have natural resources. We need not to be told. But there are people who are sitting somewhere and they want to claim ownership of these natural resources. And we don't have to allow them. That we don't have to allow these people to have that narrative that the African resources belong to them. The natural resources in Africa belong to we, the Africans. And that we have to do everything possible to protect the mineral resources that we have in Africa. And we have to add value to it. That all the mineral resources, we can't keep giving them out for free, exporting them in the natural form. We have to add value to our mineral resources instead of exporting them in the raw form to these people, that they will add value to it, and at the end of the day they bring it back to the African continent and sell it to us at a very expensive price. That we have to unite as a people, and this should be a wake-up call to all of us in the continent, that every leader must know that we have to add value to our mineral resources. And this is the cry we have been crying all this while. And that we, the youth, we have to also do our part. We have a role to play. We don't have to allow ourselves to be used by some people because of hunger. We know we are very hungry. And that one, as she said, is very true. That the youth are very hungry. And we've lost trust in these our democratic elected ones. That this is the time that more people will come in that will want to use as the youth to destabilize our respective nations. And we don't have to give in to that. This is the time we have to stand firm with the hunger, with all the information we got to fight for a better Africa. This is the time we need to channel our energy towards the right cause. This is not the time for us to allow people to come and be giving us peanuts and instructing us to be doing things that will destabilize the continent. We need to come together and work.
Unity in diversity. You cannot do anything if you are not united. Unity in diversity. You cannot do anything if you are not united. And that's why at the country level, at the sub-regional level, at the continental level, we need to be united. So our theme is more local, that we talk about unity in diversity, natural resources benefication. We have to add value to our natural resources, whether in the land or in the sea. Like now we have the oil and gas which are discovered. We have really two. And then you say youth empowerment. Our focus is to empower our young people. And when we talk about empowering the young people, not just to create jobs for them, but to make them, they should be the job creators. So we must just create an environment for them to be more innovative and then to be in charge of their own natural resources. These natural resources are ours. I don't know why some people want to make a debate. They belong to Namibians. But we know we might not have money to invest. But if you don't have the money, it does not mean this thing does not belong to you. You have to take advantage of you having that critical resources and see how you can balance with the one who's bringing in the money. So he cannot do anything if my resource is not there. So this is what should be the attitude in the whole continent if we have to make progress. So natural resources benefication for youth empowerment and sustainable development. Unless really we make use of our resources, we will not bring about prosperity, which will mean sustainable development. So that is really where I'm seeing Africa. Currently, resources are being discovered. I don't even want to believe they are discovered. They knew. They are just now saying it's here because they wanted them. And we should really be strong enough, not just allow them to come and take.
And united.
We must be united. And our young people, they must really be alert. I know that our young people, they are hungry. they are frustrated, they are desperate, they are starting to lose trust in their governments, and that can be very dangerous for them just to be taken out, to be carried away, and by the time they realize they are in forever. So that is really, and that's why I believe on intergenerational. And that's why I believe on engagement between generations so that we can live in harmony and make sure that we sustain our future. So I'm seeing Africa, if we are not united, if we are not doing the same things, what we are saying, we will end up to be back under colonial occupation in a different way. And we have to be careful also with the communication technology, the social media. It can easily
false information,
yes,
manipulation,
mental manipulation can be there. It's really, it's so sad. I said I'm not anti technology, but I'm afraid if we did not handle it properly, it can be used to manipulation and then mental colonization, which will then make us to suffer more and forever, because you can't pinpoint that these are occupying my territory.
Exactly.
Like how it was easy for us to identify our colonizer. And then the whole world has to come to our support.
Africa is changing, and at the center of that transformation stands a woman rewriting the rules of power. President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Namibia's first female head of state, is not here to play games. She's here to lead. In just months in office, she's taken daring steps that have the world watching in the West rethinking. This isn't just about Namibia, it's about the rebirth of African leadership, bold, unshaken, and fiercely dedicated to the people. In this video, we unpack how President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah is positioning Namibia as a new model of governance, economic independence, and Pan-African strength. Her rise isn't just a win for Namibia. It's a beacon of hope for a continent often underestimated. This is how you lead from the front. This is how you make Africa great.
Yeah, first of all, the focus now is on economic diplomacy. Africa as a continent, we have gained our political independence. Of course, we know that Western Sahara is still struggling, but that is an internal issue. Internal issue in the sense that Western Sahara is not under foreign occupation. It's an issue between Western Sahara and Morocco. So therefore, the economic diplomacy is the way forward now. At the time of our independence, we got our independence when the Cold War was coming to an end. As Africa, we have agreed on our instrument, which is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is requiring Africans to trade among themselves. And that's why we have to seriously start implementing some of our critical decisions. For example, in SADC, for a long time, we have been talking about value chain. And the value chain is very, very important because you will not make one country or some countries to be dumping places for finished product, but rather you have to stretch it so that through that value chain, every country will have a portion to add, because in so doing, you are creating jobs in all the countries that will be benefiting from that product. And Africa, one point, has also taken a decision to say that at least to start with, 15 or 20% of Africa raw material should not leave the continent unprocessed. So that's now the issue of value addition. Where I'm seeing now, really, if Africa can take its decisions and implement them to the latter, we will be able to fit well in this changing world, which is like moving again to another cycle of a Cold War. It will be focusing on economic. It is not going to be the colonization that we know, but it will be a mental colonization. It will be an real economic colonization that we must try to mitigate one way or the other. A country like Namibia, we accept that our biggest challenge, if you call it a challenge, our biggest problem is the issue of unemployment. And it's not only unique to Namibia. You go to other African countries, it's the same thing. Because why African young people have to rescue their lives on high sea trying to go to Europe? They are basically following their job that we are transporting when we are sending the African raw material to Europe unprocessed. So we need really to work together. And under Agenda 2063, which is Africa's developmental map or mechanism, there is quite a number of demand of economic cooperation among African countries. Now, if we have to take that serious, definitely the Africans will be able to take care of themselves. And it has to start with an individual country. If every country say, I abandon my all activities, I will link all my activities to the Africa Agenda 2063, we'll be able to make good progress. So that is why this year, our theme for election, and that is not just really a mere theme, it's a clear vision, and it has to be a guiding thing.
And that the youth must be empowered. To the African leaders, that is not about creating jobs for the youth and say we are giving the youth empowerment. That no, there are other things that you need to do to empower your youth. And when the youth is empowered, your nation will be empowered. And this is the way we will all come together as a people and fight for a better Africa. And that we have to integrate the old and the youth. We have to have an integrated approach to the problem solving of the continent. It's high time our leaders get to understand that the kind of politics they are playing on us, we have moved bypast that. We are no longer in those age. They have to change their approach like the president is saying. Our leaders have to change their approach towards us. They have to stop treating us like those days that they always sit down. When it is time for elections, they come and give us some peanuts and tell us to go and vote for them, and that ends it. Our politicians have to also understand that this is a new era of Africa, and we are not supposed to be treated like the olden days when we always sit down. When it is time for elections, that's the time we are opening whatsoever and calling the youth that there are jobs everywhere for them to come and apply, and that's the time we are recruiting the citizens. No, this is not the time for them to be doing those archaic way of leadership in Africa anymore. We are in the 21st century and we need diverse approaches to the problems like the woman is calling all African leaders to do. And our unity will always be the priority. Until we are able to unite as a people, Africa will never move forward. We all have to come together, unite, and fight the common goal. These people are doing everything possible to make sure we'll never progress. Like she said, you have your mineral resources, they have the money. And these people without the mineral resources, they can't do anything. So we have to make sure that when they come into the continent to do whatsoever in the continent, we give them terms and conditions that will benefit us. If it will not benefit the African, then they have to go. Like they said, that Africa, they are discovering a lot of mineral resources. That is not true. They already know that these things exist. But whenever they are ready to now have access to them, that's the time they come out to tell us that they've discovered this thing. So we know the tactics of these people nowadays. The most important thing is for us all to unite as a people, find a model that will suit the African, and all of us will channel our energy towards this model and implement the model and see the transformation we want to see in Africa, like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are doing. Now we know the colonial chains are the reasons to which the African is not moving ahead. So why don't we break forth from all these chains and move forward as a people? And that is why always we, the youth, are calling all the African leaders to unite. Enough of the talking. Now you know the problems. It is high time you stand up to these people and fight for a better Africa, like the woman is doing. These things are for us. Why would somebody sit somewhere and be claiming ownership of everything that is in Africa? And they have a say, they decide and take the final decision of our mineral resources. Yet we sit here and always we are saying we want to move forward. So we have to all come together, as she's calling for unity, and move the continent ahead. We have to join and adapt the model of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to make sure Africa rises and Africa gets to its destination. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, Southern Africa, and in Namibia.